Right, friendos, I'm gonna be honest, I think we're all kind of close enough now for me to tell you guys the truth. I miss map packs. I look at how the monetization of gaming has evolved over the last 10 or 15 years, going from mostly optional and additive content.
The Mythic map pack can be yours for a one-time payment of 800 Microsoft points.
To poisoning core elements of a game's design, and I can't help but think that we've regressed. But this must be just nostalgia talking, right? Surely you don't think a map pack is a better form of paid content than a skin, right? I do. And I'm tired of pretending it's not. The main reason that I think map packs are so underrated, especially in today's day and age, is because barring a few examples like Halo 3 that didn't exactly manage its map packs very well, the addition of map packs had no adverse effect on those who didn't buy them. They were entirely optional. You could buy them to play in more maps and maybe even a new playlist or game mode, but if you didn't buy them, then the regular game still existed unaltered for you to enjoy. All they did was provide an optional add-on experience for those who were interested. Now consider modern monetization, battle passes and item stores. Their integration isn't even remotely as considerate to those who choose not to buy them. There's this myth that they're better simply because they allow for content, like maps or game modes that once would have been paid, to be given out to everybody for free. But the cost of this to the overall experience for everyone is actually drastically higher. Where map packs only improve the experience for the select few who bought them, modern microtransactions negatively impact the experience for everyone, regardless of whether you spent $100 on them or absolutely nothing. Because of how intrinsically baked into games they've become, there's really no escaping them nowadays. And that's before we even begin to consider the supposedly never used microtransaction-based matchmaking patterns that Activision filed a few years ago. Yes, of course it had to be Activision.
Huel, you happy?
Reasonably.
What would make you unhappy?
This little motherfucker not doing what he's told.
Progression systems and unlock systems, once beloved alluring elements of multiplayer games that would provide most of their longevity, have been tainted and contorted by battle passes and item stores. As my good friend Late Night Gaming put it, there doesn't seem to be a clear line anymore where progression ends and monetization begins. You see, the philosophy with monetizing games used to be, what extra content can we provide for players who want to continue investing in the experience? Whereas nowadays, it's more of a, which existing systems that players love can we monetize to encourage them to give us money?
I need about $350.
Games have their feature sets picked apart like a corpse to figure out which system or feature is the most monetizable, and then they get reassembled like a Frankenstein ATM. Halo Infinite didn't even bother launching with a staple Halo progression system, and it's likely not going to be getting one for up to 2 years after launch. And the only means of unlocking armor, without of course going to the item store, is via the Battle Pass, which is also the only form of progression in the entire game, and also just so happens to be monetized. Modern COD has done away with the traditional prestige system that was a beloved, iconic staple of the series, and now implements hard level caps that gradually increase with each season, so you're driven to the monetized Battle Pass to scratch that progression itch. And as time goes on, the ludicrously overpriced bundles that they sell in the store continue to outdo themselves in terms of their wackiness, overshadowing almost 100% of the camos and cosmetics that you unlock by, playing the game.
And the store receives an item that has way more effort put into it than all of those sets put together, as it gives Blizzard a profit incentive to lock the best and the most well-designed items behind a paywall. Because guess what? If you put this, imagine if you put this piece of shit set, or that piece of shit set right there on the store, next to this one right here, which one would sell for more fucking money? I would bet $1 million that it would be this one right here. So guess which one goes in the game, and guess which one goes in the store. And that's the way it works, is you just created a profit incentive to deliver the worst content to the game and paywall people for the best objects in the game. Do you see what I'm saying?
Just because spending money on an item store or a battle pass is technically optional,
Secure your noise hole, soldier. Grown-ups are talking.
Damn it.
doesn't mean that they don't intrude on the overall experience. Just like subscribing doesn't. Now, I see that a flat 60% of you watching aren't subbed, which is wild, so please, if you enjoy my content, go down below, hit sub, ring the old bell, and carry on watching. But my heart yearns for the return of map packs for more reasons than just this. I don't want to feed into modern monetization, but I do miss when I could help support a game's continued development post-launch and actually receive something worthwhile for it. You see, map packs were a kind of monetization that provided a genuine experience for your money, experiences that created memories. Buying the World at War map packs in 2009, I knew I was going to get 3 multiplayer maps that I'd spend God knows how many hours playing, and a new Zombies map that would probably consume my life for the next month or two until the next one came out. For 800 Microsoft points, I was getting God knows how many hours of fun and entertainment. The same goes for Halo 3's map packs as well. Whether it was in matchmaking, custom games, or Forge, I knew that what I was buying was something that would extend the Halo 3 experience that I already loved, and in doing so, help me create even more fond Halo 3 memories. Memories that are still floating around the old Think box to this very day. The 2142 themed map pack for Battlefield 4, the Gears of War 2 and 3 map packs that brought new Horde maps and even entirely cut campaign levels, etc, etc. Map packs were an investment with a sizable guaranteed return in both content and the experiences that content would create. And what's better is they actually had bang for their buck. Granted, it was 14 years ago. But spending 800 Microsoft points, around $10 on Derice, probably created more fond memories for me than almost anything I've spent money on in the last 2 years.
I'm on Derice. Take a good hard look at the map.
The same cannot be said for modern microtransactions though. I mean, you look at the price of paid content now and what you actually get for that price, and as the old British saying goes, it is daylight robbery. 1/3 the price of a full game for a set of armor, or a bundle to make one character and maybe 2 guns look a little bit different, or bundles that make guns look and sound different, albeit a little bit cool, for $100! 3 figures! I can't count, 3 figures. That's like 1.5 Resident Evil Villagers or 10 Halo 3 heroic map packs, just to make guns act a little bit different. And the irony as well is that despite these microtransactions having actual real world value, they have no value in the context of a video game because you didn't actually play the game to earn them. A cosmetic that you had to actually play or grind or complete a certain feat or challenge to earn, like, I don't know, Katana in Halo 3 or a gold gun in Cold 4, had inherent value because of what you had to do to achieve it. Modern cosmetics? Nah, their value is whatever number is deducted from your bank account when you buy them.
Social credit deducted.
Their value is entirely disconnected from the game itself. And because of the nature of live service games and their cosmetics, as time goes on, these skins have to constantly outdo themselves. Each new skin that releases has to be a little bit more out there and flashy than the last, so people who have already spent loads on skins have a reason to keep buying them. None of this content is meaningful or designed to be evergreen. None of it creates lasting emotions and memories like map packs used to.
Spool 6-gauge wire! Okay, now that's just ridiculous.
It's just overpriced, shallow vapor that's built to eventually become obsolete in the hope that you spend even more on the next thing that they release to replace it. I mean, it's so bad nowadays, it's even got me missing season passes. Don't get me wrong, was it greedy for a developer to say, hey, I know you just spent $60 on this game, but do you feel like maybe giving us another $60 for content that's not even released yet? It definitely seems greedy, and I'm not going to say that they were perfect by any means, but when you look at the actual cost of what you got in a season pass, it wasn't that bad. The content was, in like 99% of cases, guaranteed to come, so you were getting it. And when it did come, it was going to be a meaningful addition to a game that you presumably already enjoy. So it was really, at the end of the day, just pre-ordering DLC. People ended up despising season passes, and like I've already said, they were far from perfect. They were full of faults. I mean, their propensity to contain content that should have released with the game, but was held back to sell in the season pass, isn't that far removed from a lot of the bad shit that modern monetization does. But I mean, compared to how games are monetized nowadays, call me crazy, but I'd take a season pass any day. Buying a game and having it come day one with a fully fledged long-term progression system, with a huge volume of cosmetic content unlocked via achievements, challenges, progression milestones, and other cool feats in-game, and then having the option to pay $60 on top of that, or if you want to get pedantic, adjusted for inflation, $78.18 for a guaranteed year's worth of extra maps and modes. Fuck man, that sounds like a dream. Now, although map packs may have gone the way of the dodo nowadays, their big brother, expansions, are still kinda going strong. Destiny's expansions that sell entirely new campaigns, factions, raids, and locations continue to do extremely well, as do World of Warcraft's, with each expansion seeing successively higher sales than the last, so maybe there is a future out there where we see other games adopt a style of monetization where you're buying actual content again, except this time on a larger scale. But then again, both WoW and Destiny both have other avenues of monetization as well. Avenues that are far more modern, like, you guessed it, item shops and battle passes. And I assume that they make up the bulk of both games' respective profits each year. The sad reality is, outside of a few exceptions, the days of meaningful monetization content I think are just truly over, because modern monetization is just far easier, far cheaper, and quicker to make, can be sold in higher, more frequent volumes, and is just all round more profitable. So much more profit can be made while also investing so much less making things like armor or like cosmetic bundles compared to investing in a full campaign expansion or a full map pack or game expansion or DLC or something like that. You have to invest far more for that kind of stuff, and the sad reality is it probably makes far less. I don't know if it's just because modern gamers never got to experience the golden age of gaming before everything became so aggressively monetized. Man, fuck you, Bethesda, and your horse armor for starting all this shit.
All of this just works. It just works.
But people just kind of seem happy with the trade-off of free maps and modes for the gutting of progression and unlock systems. It's all personal preference at the end of the day, right? Everyone likes different things, but for me personally, map packs are just better for the overall health of the game. They don't invalidate any existing feature. They keep the core game and its monetization separate from one another. They exist as separate entities, but now the two have combined to create something that just kind of feels artificially designed. Not something made as an idea or a concept expressed as an art form, but rather as a corporate product designed to milk dry as many players as possible and maximize profit margins. They may be poison, but they're an extremely lucrative and extremely popular poison, and with gaming becoming more and more corporate by the day and with profit targets getting bigger and bigger, realistically, I don't think we'll ever see a return to a less profitable business model just to appease what is realistically a minority of players. Where monetization in gaming goes from here on out, God knows. Live service, of course, has the entire industry by the jugular right now, but eventually something is going to come along that is even more lucrative than live service. I just hope that whatever it is, it comes in the form of something a bit more meaningful.
Get what you fucking deserve!
Speaking of meaningful, you should definitely check out my last video by clicking right here about the game that time forgot. You know, call me biased, but I'd say that's some content with meaning right there. Massive thank you to all of my amazing patrons for the continued support over there, and if you miss map packs as much as I do, then make sure you hit that sub button down below. I'd appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.